hole people. The word hole, the
hole countries.
I'm a proud holer.
This story is full of holes. So here I thought this would be the big story of the week. Check out this sexy kangaroo. Look at him. It's a big problem. He's apparently blocking people from a restroom in an Australian national park. Look at him. That is a sexy kangaroo. He's like the Burt Reynolds of kangaroos. Seriously, that pouch must be made of mirrors because I can see myself in it. But then I also thought that this would be the story of the week, too.
Sunday, get ready to be frenemies. As the creators of Man Scouts present the White House Rumble 2 Sloppy Seconds. It's President Trump versus the scruffy sea cow, the gray-skinned goblin, the triple-shirted nightmare, Steve Bannon. It's an all-out war in the Oval between 45 and the totally disheveled, totally unshaven former chief strategist. It'll be messier than your teenager's bedroom. And the first 100 viewers receive a free temporary job at the White House. So get your act together before the globalists get their grubby hands on this one. It's the White House Rumble 2 Sloppy Seconds.
But you know, all of that, it seems like years ago. Trump has this uncanny ability to warp time. Whatever we were talking about on Thursday, it seems like it happened in the 90s. And not the 1990s. The 90s, you know? The new top story is making everyone holier than thou.
For him to claim that all the countries of Africa are holes is woefully ignorant. Whole country.
Whole countries.
So-called whole countries.
Hole.
Considered a hole.
It's like they never swore in their lives, and it's all coming out now. I hope Trump introduces a new vulgarity every week just so they can repeat it over and over again. All right. They're applauding that. But it's not like they've ever used that word or intent. If you're in the New York media and you're outraged by that word, you are a hypocrite because you use that word all the time, mainly to describe any gym that doesn't have a juice bar, or a pub that doesn't serve craft beer, or any place that's beneath your standards of comfort and luxury. Now, Trump denies he worded it this way, but come on. Other men in the room say otherwise, which leads me to conclude, what a bunch of tattletales. Anyway, I wish he would clean up his act, but come on, the media is treating this word, which is not a deed, like it's Armageddon.
A white honky from Norway can come here, but a black dude from Haiti can't. What does that tell you in an America that in one generation called you a We're no different than we were a generation ago, and we're learning the same lessons that we learned when we called a Chinese man a when we called a man from Guatemala a and we called a black man a
Did he just say all of that? That's wrong. I think we need something to calm me down. Now, I get it. Trump's rhetoric makes him a heavy lift. You know what he is? He's that 2-hour drive for 30 minutes at the beach. But when the media turns this into this collective dewy-eyed drama queen, I start to think the drive, it's worth it. Fact is, we have a president who talks like this, and this isn't even the worst thing he's said. But I look at it this way. Who would you rather have operate on your kid? A great doctor who's an or an incompetent guy who's a charmer? We know what we got. But here's the thing, as long as Trump's actions are good, we'll probably live with a not-so-good rhetoric. But if things start turning south, then who knows? But so far, so good. Remember this.
We want to see something happen with DACA. It's been spoken of for years. Fact is, our country was such a mess, nobody even knows what the numbers are. But we'll know what the numbers are. But above all else, any bill we pass must improve jobs, wages, and security for American citizens. The people who elected us, all of us, the people that elected us, we have to take care of them.
Now, Trump did so good that he even drew praise from Trump.
My performance, some of them called it a performance. I consider it work. But got great reviews by everybody other than 2 networks who were phenomenal for about 2 hours.
He just graded his own paper and gave himself an A. No, an A's probably not high enough. An AAA. And for CNN, it wasn't just a meeting. It was a gosh darn sausage party.
TV sensation of sausage making. That was great. It is great for people to be able to see as Chris calls it, the sausage making spectacle. Before we dig into the dazzling spectacle that we saw yesterday of sausage making.
That was like 3 days ago. They were so happy back then. Sausage. But not everyone was on board. Check out this pair of nuts.
This was nothing more than a dog and pony show where he was using Democrats and Republicans to try and show that he was fit, when in truth he actually showed that he had very little command of the issue. I had some friends that went to Paris over the holiday, and they said they were viscerally...
Paris, Texas, right?
Paris, France.
Oh, Paris, France.
And they said they were just viscerally embarrassed to be Americans. They said it was the first time that it was sort of chilling.
Grandpa kept kind of wandering back and forth, and he had to be reminded time and time again by Republicans what he believed.
I keep trying to figure out how she's able to move that dummy's lips. It's got to be. That's how you work a dummy. Anyway, no matter what Trump does, they're going to gripe, but he doesn't help himself with his rhetoric. Still, America rolls along, content as baby leopards. Small business optimism is at an all-time high. Yeah, that works. The economy is chugging along. Companies are giving bonuses, benefits, and wage increases to their employees. He's coerced North Korea to the table. Iran is bubbling with a secular revolution. All of these things have majority approval across the parties, which kind of strikes me as centrist. So what exactly has Trump done that's pushing us down this slippery slope to a fascist dystopia? Not much, except for crude words. And yeah, he's blunt to the point of ugliness. But I'm sorry, I don't see Joe and Mika taking spa vacations in the Sudan. At least Trump admits that he doesn't. So take a tip from this sexy kangaroo. Sit back, relax, calm down. Nothing's more attractive than an unflappable marsupial. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's so tough he shaves with barbed wire. Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth. My iPhone's autocorrect says she's ducking hilarious. Writer and comedian Allie Breen. She's our damsel from Detroit, National Review reporter Kat Tibbs. A satellite dish is his dinner plate. Former bodyguard and my massive sidekick, Tyrus. So, Pete, quite a week, huh?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, what's your take on all this, you know?
No, my take is your final take, which is everyone needs to calm down. Mm-hmm. Calm down. No, this president ran on something. He's negotiating it. He used, I don't know, what you call it, salty language.
Yes.
Listen, I know what I said when I was walking on patrol in Iraq about the neighborhoods I was walking in. It wasn't, wow, this is a wonderful place. It was, wow, this is you know.
Yes.
The reality is you can differentiate the people coming from these places from places that are not doing as well as America, you might say. Mm-hmm. We did have a candidate in the general election that called those who voted for the president deplorable. Is that acceptable? So you're deplorable, you're deplorable, you're deplorable. No, I mean the left loves to point at Americans who they don't like and say they're unacceptable. But when the president points out that a Visa lottery system is grabbing from countries that may not be as good as we would want them to be, many of which have radical inclinations, he's somehow a racist. It's ridiculous. And I think those that support the policies this president is pursuing should not bend to what the left is trying to do to him right now.
You know, the thing is, though, he's going to have to be able to make those two things distinct, that he was talking about a country and not people, and he's got to say that by saying when he moves to merit-based immigration that it will include people from what we would call the whole countries. That's the only way, because if he says if you're from a whole country and you can't come here, then that's racist. So he has to make sure that he says that, look, these old countries, there are good people from there. I don't want to use the Visa lottery system. I want to use a merit-based immigration system so the good people can get in here. But he's got to say that. I hope he says it soon. Allie, first time on the show.
Yes.
Talk about whatever you want. What do you think? What do you make of this latest controversy?
I'm surprised people are so up in arms. We're so used to this locker room talk. That's what got him elected.
Yes. Yeah.
We love hearing this from him. And I like, too, that people are so obsessed with the rhetoric. Like Hillary Clinton tweeted, you know, how abominable it was that he said this, and it was so horrible that he was treating these people this way. The Clinton Foundation stole billions of dollars from Haiti years ago. I mean, look at actions as opposed to words. I think we need to do more of that.
That's the thing, is that it's conflating. It's now action, now words are actions.
Yeah.
And I can see you can argue that if something is inflammatory enough, it can be an action. But I don't know if that's what this is. Kat, this country still rolls on. I mean, that's the thing. It goes back to the belief that if Trump can handle the big things, we forgive this kind of obnoxious, coarse rhetoric. What do you think?
Well, now thanks to Trump, we can say Merry Christmas again.
Yes.
And we can also say hole, apparently.
Yeah. You could say Merry hole.
You can say whatever you want.
Yes. By the way, that is a bar downtown. Mary's quite a bartender. Recently, Mary.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, what I didn't like the comments. I didn't like them. I know that makes me a conservative. But I just pictured a little kid being like, hey, Mom, can Jimmy come to play? And she says, no. And he says, why? And he says, well, because the country of origin he's from is a hole, so he can't come over.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing to
we
say.
run the country.
I understand the difference. I completely understand the difference. But basing things based on country of origin and calling it that, I think could have done a better job.
I think he's going to have to separate people from country, because that's.
I would love to hear him say that.
Yeah, me too. And me too. I hope he does. All right, Tyrus, do you have any theories about this? First, I have two questions. Two questions for you, Tyrus. By the way, Tyrus is his own country of origin.
And it's not
And it's not
properties. Beautiful.
It's not all. No, two things. I want to ask you, where's Bannon going to go next? Because we were going to talk about Bannon.
Yeah.
And also your analysis of Trump.
Well, wow, that's a deep question.
Yes.
Where is Bannon?
Yeah.
Like, we need to take Waldo out.
Yeah.
We were expecting this big fight. It was over in one round.
I know.
He learned real quick that it was Trump's world, not Bannon's. He lost everything in a half hour.
Yes.
He lost the show. He lost the radio show. They took his dog, his house. He had to turn his keys in. He's literally somewhere in a van down by the river.
Yes.
And he's not handsome like Chris Farley was, so he is scaring he's a
Yeah.
That's where he's at. And my theory with Trump in his tweets, he's drinking.
You think so?
From a guy who's had a drink.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. The economy is great. Like, we're doing so many great things, and we're talking about this. Or he's in this long meeting, and he's like, and I, as someone from African descent, after hearing the statements, I agree with you that he was talking about the country. So I guess if he said third world country, it would have been better. But third world country, if you look it up in the Urban Dictionary, is
Yeah.
So I'm at this point, I'm going to stop sipping the Diet Cokes at 3 in the morning, whatever it is.
But remember, he said this.
Yeah.
He said it in a room, and but I think he's just, this is who he is, and it's just like.
Well, and he also, his mistake was believing that what he could said in a private meeting would be kept there. Dick Durbin, rather than actually confront him in the meeting and have any courage at all, ran to his friends in the media afterwards and said, "Let me tell you what he said," like a tattletale, like you said.
Yeah.
He's not used to that. That's not how his world operates, but that's how the D.C. swamp of small men operates.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, Senator Graham handled it.
Yeah. So what Graham did
was like, whoa, hey.
Senator Graham actually went and talked to him afterwards, which is like what you normally do in reality world, but not in this case. I think we learned a lot this week, which we'll soon forget by Monday, because we'll be drinking a lot, and Trump will do something else. Coming up, a story so hot it'll leave burn marks on your brain. No more personal cell phones if you work in the West Wing. Yeah, it'll work.
Like a car. Just want to.
They can no longer make calls from within the West Wing walls. According to a memo issued by Chief of Staff John Kelly, personal cell phones will be banned within the West Wing of the White House. The ban intends to protect classified information and to keep staffers from using personal phones for official business, something that historically has caused problems for some people. She always gets applause wherever she goes. But the very clever media is suspicious of the timing and asked Sarah Sanders if that Michael Wolff book had anything to do with John Kelly's new edict.
Go ahead.
Does the cell phone ban a response to the revelations in this book?
Absolutely not. That's a ridiculous characterization.
Do they really think anyone leaking out info is stupid enough to call from the West Wing as opposed to, like, I don't know, their house or Starbucks, the bathroom? Anyway, don't worry, media. The leaking probably won't stop, but hopefully the nation's classified information will be more secure, or as secure as this.
You want to come in? Oh my gosh, he is nibbling.
Oh my god, lock the door. Lock the door.
That was awesome.
We couldn't show you the second part of that. It was disgusting, but kind of erotic, I must say. Allie, do you think this is a good idea? Is it going to work?
I don't think it'll work. I think it's probably a reasonable idea. I mean, I went to a Kevin Hart show. They took my cell phone at that. So I don't think it is unreasonable to think that you shouldn't have your personal device on you. And everything has a camera or recorder now.
Yes.
By the way, you can get a piece of fruit that has a camera in it at this point. So I don't think you're going to stop the leaks.
Is that so you can spy on people eating fruit? That's very strange. Or why is this piece of fruit in the shower? There's a piece of fruit by the toilets. What's that doing there? I don't know. Kat, this would ruin your life, wouldn't it? If they forced you to took your phone, you'd die right there.
My phone is my best friend. Oh, they say. I do it at my house, though. I make people leave their phones at the door.
What?
I invite people over to pay attention to me.
Oh, I see.
It's called validation, Greg.
Yes, that's true. It's kind of like your little pet.
Yes.
Anyway, Tyrus.
Yo.
Remember when we didn't have this problem, when we didn't have cell phones?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's the greatest idea I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I love it. You're working for one of the greatest, highest, most important jobs in the world. Maybe not have your phone. You know, so I think Kelly did a great job by saying not have phones. And if I was working there, it's a tremendous excuse for me not to be bothered. Sorry, I got to turn my phone in for the next 12 hours, so you can't bother me. I mean, I can't wait till I'm retired because I'm have a rotary phone. So if you don't catch my ass between 10 in the morning or 5 in the afternoon, you ain't catching me.
So what you're saying is this is really good for married men.
Yeah, it's
you can't
good for anybody who doesn't want to be on the phone. Go, what are you doing? Working. What are you working on? Stuff. Why aren't you? So are you thinking about me? Yes. You didn't respond fast enough. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's the only thing it's good for. Like Deep Throat didn't have an iPhone, and that still got through.
That's true.
Yeah.
He did that in a parking garage. It's true. A lot of happens in a parking garage.
I knew you couldn't resist that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just.
Hey, look, after Trump, you could say anything. And by the way, Hey, it could mean a number of different things, Pete.
Anything. Decode that.
Yes.
He is not just John Kelly. He is General John Kelly in the military. We have something called operational security, otherwise known as OPSEC. You're not allowed to bring devices into sensitive areas. I don't know. Last time I checked, the West Wing is one of them, where they discuss the most classified and secret information our country holds. This should have been probably in since day one.
Yeah.
And when he came on board, I guarantee you this is not a response to the book. A procedure like this, which is starting in a couple of days, would have been implemented over a series of months to make sure they have all the protocols in place. He's in charge. He's laying the gauntlet down. Good for him.
I'd sneak my phone in.
Yeah.
You try.
Yeah. No devices in sensitive areas.
You're on a roll. You're on a roll.
I wish I knew that before I ended up in the ER. Took me an hour to explain.
He's not getting out of this mindset at all.
I'm sorry.
This is where we are.
Yeah.
Right here. Let's keep going.
I think that we're underestimating the effect that smartphones are having on all of our lives. I mean, there will be skills and talents that we will cease to have. Like actually thinking about things when we could just search for things. We're not going to be thinking. We're not going to be doing much of it. You won't try to figure out how to get from A to B when you have Waze
Does that mean when I'm telling my kid not to play video games, I'm doing them a disservice?
No, make them play video games because then they're off the street away from me.
Okay.
The best thing in the world is if you didn't talk on your phone all day, you might actually have a real conversation when you got home. Just saying.
I'm against that. Up next, should you care if the government renewed a domestic surveillance program? Well, as long as they ignore my search history, I'm not worried. Where are my notes? I'm not going to lie. I love to spy. I'd spy on you if I could. And maybe I am right now. Close your robe, Bob in Waco. Open yours, Steve in Omaha. So I'm thrilled that last week the House renewed the controversial FISA program that allows the government to collect foreign intel on potential terror threats. However, a warrant and probable cause are required for collections on Americans, which so many people seem to forget mentioning in the media, or shall I say mainstream media. The legislation now goes to the Senate. I hope the government never comes looking for this video of me. I was in such better shape back then. It was low carbs, high protein. Anyway, back on the bread. Kat, in the green room, you said, and I quote, and I recorded it, "Thank God we have these new FISA rules to allow me to rail against them and be secure in my safety bolstered freedom." That's exactly what you said.
That is not what I said. In the green room, I sat in the corner and didn't talk at all. Actually, that's what I did.
Classic Kat.
Yeah, classic. I'm very personable. No, it's not. There's really no protections for Americans in this. There really isn't. And
really?
If you end up talking to I understand that if you're a foreign contact, you don't have constitutional rights. But if you're someone who's talking to one of those people and you're wrapped up in it, they don't have to get a warrant to get your information, and then you can get in trouble for something completely different. And also, the Constitution says this isn't allowed.
Oh, okay, Judge Napolitano.
It's not in the Constitution.
It's not in the Constitution.
And if you start ignoring certain parts of the Constitution, then the whole thing becomes obsolete, because you can just say, oh, well, they did it over here, did it over here. Yeah, Constitution, it's not convenient. Either the Constitution means everything or means nothing. And to me, it's everything, Greg.
Very good. I say, don't applaud her. It's my show. It's my show. It's not all or nothing. You can pick a party. Constitution, let's face it, overrated. You know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there that you could probably. Anyway, Pete, refute everything she said.
I'm with you. I want to spy on everyone and anyone who is not an American with every means possible. I think we should bring assassination back. Listen, I'm fine. If it's I'm serious.
Can you clarify who you would assassinate?
No, I won't. Because I want to keep people on their toes.
All right.
I would never give away my playbook.
Yes.
I think America should do whatever it needs to do to maintain its position in the world. But I'm with Kat. Kat on the Constitution thing. I think if you are an American citizen, you should have the rights afforded to you. And I didn't used to have that view, but you see what the abuses that have been used by people in power. And when your party's not in power and they don't care about the Constitution, they will weaponize the intelligence services against you, which is exactly what Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton did against Donald Trump. I want a Constitution that protects us from that as well.
Sorry. You couldn't be more wrong. And I have facts here to dispute that, but we don't have time to go through them. Tyrus!
There was some good-ass facts.
Yeah. You saw, I showed you the facts in the green room.
Blown them back.
It was amazing. Look, you can't connect the dots, Tyrus, without the dots.
You gotta have the dots.
You gotta have the dots.
Yeah, I mean...
Don't be dotist.
I don't want to besmirch Kat's eloquent speech, but my thing is, if I'm not doing dirt, I don't care personally. But I also understand... I think there needs to be some kind of thing in there where if they are looking at a foreign element and it so happens that they are talking to an American, at that point, maybe that's when the warrant comes in. I think that's fine. And whatever is conversations are happening before the warrant is inadmissible except against the foreign thing.
If there's an imminent threat.
If there's an imminent threat. I think there can be a gray area there.
I think that if you want to search, play the band Warrant.
Yeah.
Is that our band?
Yes. How can you not remember Warrant?
Wait a minute. Wait, you hate Maroon 5, but you like Warrant?
I didn't say I liked Warrant. I was just searching for a desperate joke.
We have age groups of all over here, and they're like, who Warrant?
They had one song, Cherry Pie. Right? They had one song, Cherry Pie. That was it. And it wasn't even very good. Allie, save me from myself.
I'm with Kat. This one. Because I think it also is a great argument. I mean, and I'm with Pete too. It's like spy on all the foreign operatives, do all that. Once you're in America, you're protected by the Constitution.
But what if Americans are terrorists?
But it's a great way to really protect the borders that way. If we're saying once you're in America, you're safe, we really have to protect the borders to say, hey, we're going to spy on you here really closely to make sure you don't get in if you're doing anything wrong.
I see what you're doing.
So use it for that.
You're marrying that issue to this issue. I could go with that, but I want both. I want to spy on everybody and also have a strong border because I'm a weirdo. All right. They agree. Coming up, Uncle Sam wants you to put down the funnel cake while the Army is having a hard time finding fit recruits. That's next. So, how can you fight a war if you can't get through the door? The Army draws a high percentage of soldiers from recruits from 11 states, from Georgia to Texas, and each lost recruit cost the government thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, in other military-related news, the 9/11 plotters, including alleged mastermind and lover of giant neck T-shirts, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, are accusing Gitmo prison guards of sexual harassment for conducting groin searches instead of using body scanners. I believe we have a response for Khalid Sheikh. Apparently, we were able to locate one of his exes. Hey, so, Tyrus, I'm sorry. What, fat recruits. Is that where you?
Real quick to your boy in Gitmo. Bro, that's the closest thing to love you're going to get. You might want to ask for them searches more often.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I might be hiding something, sir. But I actually have an issue with the fat recruit thing.
Right.
Because I remember when I was in high school, the Army guys would come down and recruit. They would have you go to class. You would train before you got there, and the guys that stuck it out, they got a chance to go. The guys who didn't had to keep doing those things till they you got to lose 30 pounds. You got to lose this or whatever. And the guys who wanted it, they did it.
Yeah.
So if you got guys that are out of shape, get them in the shape. The thing about being out of shape is you can get into shape.
Right.
So
unless you're me.
Get them in shape. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's basic training. It sucks. You might get hurt. Understand that. But that's part of it. You're not going to you're getting young men who need guidance, who need to learn things. So don't condemn them for having being out of shape. Give them the tools to get in shape because they want to defend our country. So give them the opportunities to do so.
That's a good point. know who I blame? I blame the government for these people being overweight because we fed this lie called the nutrition pyramid, which told them they had to eat like 10 slices of bread and this much protein, but this much carbohydrates. No wonder everybody's shaped like a pyramid. I don't know.
Have you been to the South? Their food is amazing.
I know.
They have like fried Twinkies on burgers.
Yes.
On the lighter fare of the menu.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But I mean, it must just mean part of the South, because like from what I've seen, the SEC is dominating college football right now. Those guys are in some amazing shape.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And I've never been to one of their locker rooms, I'll have you know. Kat, thoughts?
I don't like talking like this because then that's how the government imposes laws on nutrition and says that I can't drink my body weight in Slurpee and says that I can't eat a soft pretzel in the bathtub at nighttime. You know, that kind of stuff, which is fun stuff to do. The Constitution doesn't say that we need to be protected from high fructose corn syrup. So they can just leave us alone.
Pete? You're an Army veteran, right? Or are you Air Force?
Army.
Army.
Do not offend me.
I'm sorry. I knew that it would. All right. I have a theory, and I want to present it to you.
Okay.
I think technology is going to make physical requirements way more lax and less important because we're evolving, and so is our way of killing. You don't have to look like Pete Hegseth if you're in a secluded military installation in Montana pushing buttons and directing drones and killer robots who have 1,000 times the strength as a human being. You don't have to be an MMA expert anymore if your robots are just massive killing machines. This is why, Pete, we have to get there first with drones, AI, and robots, because then we win the universe. Thank you. That's my theory.
I do not entirely disagree.
Okay.
Except, I mean, you should know this better than anyone else. Until the robots take over themselves.
Yes, that's going to happen when they become self-aware.
If you can't physically take on a robot,
yes,
you're in serious trouble.
Yeah, well, that's why you have.
The drone turns on you.
That's why you have really long extension cords.
Just to pull it.
Just to pull it out on the robot, and then they're just like, woo! Because as long as you can pull out the extension cord, we're in charge.
I think.
Water.
Yeah, throw a cup of water on them. The smoke comes out, their arms start going like this. By the way, they're going to show this tape of me doing this to the robots in 1,000 years, and I'm going to be called a racist. They're going to say, back in 2018, Greg Gutfeld was mocking us. And then they'll dig me up, reanimate me just to torture me.
That may all be true. I would say, clearly Michelle Obama did not do her job with school lunches. Otherwise, it'd all be solved.
Yeah.
And that's usually how they want to solve it. On the Gitmo guard, having served down there for a year guarding.
Yeah, you were
I was a guard down there for a year.
I forgot.
No detainees ever had anything up there, ever in their life. So we should never search there at all.
All right.
I mean, the fact that we even care one iota about what this guy thinks is absurd. And you know how well they're treated down there? Probably better than you are in your local medical facility. We bend over backwards to treat these guys well.
So do they.
It's a resort.
Anyway.
I knew it was coming.
I have to say, I am a terrible host because I forgot that you were a Gitmo guard. I was like, hey, we're doing a story on guards at Gitmo. And so how's the weather? It's like completely... Anyway, I forgive you. I'm sorry. Still to come, a restaurant allowed customers to set their own price and has paid the ultimate price. Nice wordplay. Another fine example of socialism next. They made bread for a living, and sadly, no one was giving. A Panera restaurant in suburban St. Louis is closing its doors after a 7-year-long experiment where customers could pay what they please. It opened in 2010, hoping that people who could afford a suggested price would pay for it or more. The concept spread to other stores, Chicago, Michigan, Portland, and Boston, all cities. But Boston's the only one still open. Like they'd go there. Company chairman Ron Shake says people paid about 85% of the suggested price, but added, quote, "We loved it, it worked well, it proved that the idea would work." Yeah, until it didn't. Just like communism. Thanks for nothing, Ron. Anyway, they're replacing the Panera restaurant with a shop featuring this fella.
Flamingo!
I would pay anything for that. Anything. All right, I don't know, Tyrus. That was a success. They said it was a success, even though they had to close everything. What is this? What's the lesson?
I think the lesson here is that the CEO or the guy from Panera Bread is greedy. Because here's the thing about these restaurants. They usually charge 3 or 4 times what the food is actually worth. So they overcharge us anyway. So when they did a pay-as-you-go, obviously 7 years is a long time for any business to stay open. And St. Louis isn't exactly an economic wonderful place right now, so I mean...
They had the Arch.
Yeah, they had the Arch.
They had Nelly.
You don't got to pay to see that. They had Nelly. Nelly's like Warrant. And I find it whenever a company tells me something's not working that was working, I'm usually kind of going, yeah, whatever, man. You guys just want the regular money.
Here's my problem with Panera, Kat. It's like Switzerland of restaurants. It's a public place where you go to have like interviews or break up with someone, or to have coffee with someone as a favor that like from your past. Hey, you want to meet for coffee because they need something from you? From you? Is that a word? From you? From you? It's totally out of sync with society. They have bread bowls. We are now in a low-carb, high-protein, high-fat world. To be feeding carbohydrates into an American public is killing them. Kat?
Sometimes I go there by myself.
Really?
I got in huge trouble one time because I was using all the bandwidth to watch Dateline in the corner by myself and eat my bread bowl. But I figured
you're the crazy Dateline lady.
100%. So I figured out though what really happened.
What?
These losses weren't coming from people who like really couldn't pay for it. It was punk high school kids who had just gotten their driver's license and they're punks, and when they hear pay what you want, they hear free broccoli cheddar soup.
Yes.
Where are we going? We're going to Panera. I figured it out.
I can't do broccoli cheddar, or at least part of me can't do it.
We're never getting out of it.
That was terrible. Allie? How ironic. They make bread, but couldn't make bread.
Well, they made some bread because I'm impressed they got 85%.
Yeah, that's true.
That's surprising. I mean, if you looked around, people suck. I would think people had nothing.
Yes.
I think they would just walk in and be like, free food. So I'm amazed it lasted that long.
Yeah.
Who has that kind of faith in humanity?
No, not me.
Not me.
Not me.
I do, because most everyday people are decent.
Well, that turns out to be the case.
They have pride and stuff. So.
You got to introduce me to some of these people.
Yes. Unless they're from countries. Pete. I'm joking. Pete, thoughts?
Well, if there's a 3 to 4 times price up on food, right?
Yeah.
Then they're always making hand over fist in
Exactly.
restaurants. Except if they're only making 85%, it means they were only making a small profit.
Exactly.
Which means profits actually matter to companies.
Yes.
Which in socialism, profits don't matter at all.
Well said.
So I don't know what their experiment was to begin with.
I don't know, but I'm
just going to throw this unicorn ball at the camera.
There you go. They also picked a wealthy neighborhood over a poor one. Because why?
They wanted to make more money.
Yes. So they were pretending to be good, but in fact, they were playing off the guilt of elite liberals, let's face it.
Who came in and paid double just to make sure they could prove that the experiment worked, and it still didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't understand the concept of Panera. Why are we still eating bread bowls?
I love bread bowls.
No, it's like...
Because they're good.
No. You do realize that the nutritional pyramid was a lie. Everything about it's a lie.
I don't care about nutrition. I'm not trying to live long.
You will when you are my age. If that is true. Excellent point. You know...
Awkward.
But it's true.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
I'm 100% right.
That pyramid said drink milk every day.
Yes, and I worked.
Adult human beings don't need milk.
I worked 10 years
for
for health magazines that lied to that told people that you had a high carb diet.
But that's back when we were working hard. We were doing jobs with our hands. We needed the carbohydrates.
This is the 90s. Final thoughts next. If you leave now, Judge Janine will write a scathing opening statement about you.
Stand Up New York coming up tomorrow and at the end of the month, and Comedy Zone in Jacksonville on Valentine's Day.
All right. Anybody else have anything important, Kat?
I thought that I was doing just okay, but then I realized there are other people out there thinking you should eat laundry pods, and that's when I realized that I am crushing it.
Yes.
One of my best friends, Heath Slater in the WWE, got himself locked in the bathroom in the airport. Hashtag you jackass. That's it.
All right. We're out of time, Pete. But you talk too much anyway on Fox and Friends. Pete Higson, Allie Breen, Catherine, Tyrus, our studio audience. I'm your Gutfeld. Love you, America.